All right. Wake up. SJV is now live. This is Eric Werntgen. Thanks for joining us. All you fine folks out there, Thursday morning, May 14th, I believe. Today's featured artist is Adam Willett. Let's take a listen. The only thing I could find, Adam, is 2015 performance at the Market Street Co-op, of all places. Let's take a listen, I hope. Here he is. Adam is from, I believe, St. John or St. Francis. St. John.
Just think about my baby. So full of love I could barely eat.
Once again, we're doing our best here to feature local artists, so we are working on some sort of a hub to feature all their music. Stay tuned.
She gives me 2 days just from kissing me. When my time comes around, lady gently in the cold dark room. No grave to hold my body down. I crawl home to her. That's when my baby found me. I was 3 days on a drunken sin. I woke with the walls around me. Nothing in a room but an empty crib. I was burning up a fever. I didn't care much how long I lived. I swear I thought I dreamed her.
On today's show, Fort Kent Elementary School principal Robbie Netto at 7:30. Once again, this is Adam Netto live at 2015 at the former Market Street Co-op. I'm hoping that I can pick up some steam on this, but would like to try to bring back the farmers market. I think a great location would be the church parking lot across from St. Louis over there on Main Street. Adam and other artists could certainly perform there. People could get their produce, arts and crafts, walk their dogs. Just could be a nice little setup. Like so many things, we're probably just going to have to wait till the fall. So that was Adam Willett. I'm sorry, I keep saying Adam Willett. Adam Netto. I apologize, Adam. Live at the Market Street Co-op back in 2015. Different days for sure back then. Welcome to Wake Up SJV. Hopefully you're getting up. It's Thursday, folks. Sun is shining. We're going to get a quick look here at the weather. Weather, I won't say it, if you like it or not. Let's take a look though, folks. Should be pretty warm today. excuse me, looking at it, I did see that we're still going to have that fabulous wind, and it got me thinking, I got to get myself a kite. Bring the kite. That's a good activity to do. It's socially distanced. Take it up into the sky there on a soccer field or whatnot, and just let it go, my friends. Here it is, though. I think we're going to let it load. I don't know if we're overloading the computer at this point. Oh, sorry, here we are. So, brought to you by the National Weather Service. Today's weather. Currently 34 degrees. That's 1 degree Celsius. Excuse me, for you people over there in Canada. Sunny, 57. We like to see that. Tonight will be pretty cold though, folks. Back down below freezing, 31. Look at Friday. Really, Friday, Saturday, Sunday look beautiful. There's a little slight chance of rain. Looks like in the evening, Friday into Saturday. Other than that, looks like good campfire weather Saturday night. And that'll take us into next week as we just keep on rolling here. Once again, if you click down here on this fabulous graph, this is where I track the wind, who's been my nemesis on my walks. Been messing up my hair. And you'll see there. Not too bad. It's the gusts that get you, huh? So that's the weather. Brought to you by the National Weather Service. Once again, coming up at 7:30. This is going to be fun. Who I consider to be a good buddy, good friend, Mr. Robbie Netto, who is the principal at Fort Kent Elementary. We're going to look into remote learning at the real young ages. We talked to Nicole Gendreau of No Nonsense on Tuesday. And she is also a facilitator for learning as she's working from home and try to balance that with her 2 young children. So we'll get the principal's take coming up at 7:30. Just to, if you're catching this show for the first time, thanks for joining us. A quick overview. I keep checking the live eyes here on Facebook. I am taking questions. I'm finally up and going here. We have 3. Come on, people, step it up. This is just a little show here to get you going in the morning. Maybe you're doing your hair, your nails, whatnot, getting ready for the morning. Maybe you're having some coffee. Streamed live on, thank you, Chaz Pelletier and Channel 4 and everything that you do, my friend, the producer, Chaz Pelletier. Stream live on stjohnvalley.live. That's stjohnvalley.live. Cover local news, national news, sports, weather, and then we try to bring in some interviews, at least one each day. Monday was Mr. Barry Roulette, member of the MSAD 27 school board. So we got into that stuff. As we said, Tuesday was Nicole Gendreau from No Nonsense with Nico. And yesterday, a great interview with longtime economic social studies teacher at Fort Kent Community High School, Doug Dorman, who lives over in Edmundston. So we got some great intel on what's going on over there at the border, which he thinks, by the way, they were looking to open it up. They say public speaking, a big mistake is to say all the time. So I'm trying to correct myself. The border over there, May 20th was the deadline to open. He's thinking from reliable sources, no idea. He's thinking from chatter over there in Edmundston that that may go for at least another month, but we just don't know. I know you're getting sick of hearing that, but we really just don't know. We do know that June 5 is the last student day for all Valley Unified schools, including right here, thanks to the girls basketball team for this awesome shirt, the Fort Kent Warriors. We do know graduation here in Fort Kent and the other Valley dates are out there. I believe Madawaska Schools is the 12th. Wisdom had not set a date yet, but they had a range there, 12, 13, 14, 15. I don't know if they nailed it down yet. But Fort Kent will be graduating on the 12th, a rain date of the 13th. The graduation will be on the soccer field. We've talked about, what can we do with the prom? I don't know. Still waiting for answers there. I've been trying to talk to some seniors, and is that just going to go by the wayside? Can we do a drive-up movie maybe? Bring your date in a vehicle, have a little parade. I really enjoyed the last few years going to Lonesome Pines and watching all those awesome vehicles come in. That was pretty neat, the parade. And so that'd be cool. Why don't we drive through town, drive the mills, and then roll up into the high school, have a movie showing. I don't know what we could show. Anyway, that's just a thought. But I'm going to let Andrea Daigle, who is the advisor on the prom, and the seniors figure it out. Just a thought. Integration plan has been rolled out to us, the staff. We're just trying to phase ourselves back into work and get ready for some sort of situation in the fall. Who knows how this is going to work. All because of this fabulous virus. COVID-19 is quite a thing, folks. Really has changed the way we live. Looking at the Bangor Daily News this morning, I got to start going to the Fiddlehead Focus. We'll take a look there tomorrow. But headlines, once again, to keep going with weather. Cold weather continues before warm. So there's a headline there. We won't get into it, but pretty much saying statewide, we're going to have a little bit of a cold spell, especially overnight, as you saw. But the day should be decent. We talked about the border issue, U.S. Canada. I did find a nice article here I wanted to share with you. It's about a staycation. With mostly people staying home and school wrapping up on the 5th and families wanting to travel. Probably a good time to go to some parks, go to some lakes, go up in the woods and spend some money there if you have it. Well, I'll probably save it at the same time, but let's take a look. Share screen. Here we go. I'm going to get quicker with this. This is from the Bangor Daily News. And here it is. This was under the opinion section. Staycation may be just what you and the main tourism industry needs during this pandemic. So they get into some stuff here, about traveling and pretty amazing. Maine tourists spent more than $6 billion right here. You see that? Supporting more than 100,000 jobs and contributing more than $600 million to state revenues. That is amazing. I do want to welcome Ryan Pelletier, former guest of this show, for watching this morning. Hope you're doing well, Ryan. And Pam Bard, longtime Fort Kent Warrior supporter. Got her children through school, and now she's just chilling. So welcome. Pam also working in the, as far as I know, both her and her husband working at Northern Maine Medical Center. So thank you for all that you do and being on the front lines. So anyway, that's a lot of money. How are we going to keep that going? Some lockdown restrictions have been relaxed, especially in rural areas. And, some deadlines, Memorial Day, will that change? Certainly after July 4th, we're hoping that the state will reopen some other stuff. But in the down here, okay, in the very near term, we know that some stuff are open. And get out there, folks. Okay, where was I? These are some nice dresses. If anybody's looking, Pam, are you looking for a dress? No. So the first phase right here, and let me see if I can highlight this for you fine folks. The first phase, that's where we're at, of reopening includes state parks, eating places, retail outlets, golf courses, campgrounds, and sporting camps. There are some strict guidelines that we'll try to fish out, but that's encouraging. Let's get out. Let's enjoy this weather. There's so much to do, especially up here in northern Maine: fishing, hunting, hiking, biking, camping. Go ahead and do that. Just follow the Maine CDC, the social distancing guidelines. Bring a mask in case. I don't obviously think we're looking for any huge groups out in the woods. Not like we did in high school where we put a keg out next to our. Of all places, we decided to go out behind the middle school and elementary school, 2 different buildings. And we took a bunch of red Solo cups. And anyway, that was a long time ago. I believe the group restrictions remain at 10 or lower until phase 2. And then phase 2, I think, we'll start getting near 50. I don't know if it would go from 10 to 50. Seems like a pretty big jump. If you're still there, Ryan, I don't know if you know the group numbers. Maybe you could give us a quick message. Or maybe he left. But anyway, that's where we're at. Sorry if you've already read this article, but I figured I'd share a little love here from the Bangor Daily. And just trying to adjust, and everybody's looking for some sort of return to normalcy. We know that's probably never going to be the same. In local recreation news, because there's no local sports other than what you're doing yourself, tennis nets are up. I saw some great activity again there yesterday with our youth. I know UMFK, a basketball coach, Tom Bird, recently played a little challenge match with Thomas College and Fort Kent native Ryan Chassie. So they were knocking the ball around there a little bit. Ryan is, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Chassie fans, going into his senior year next year already at Thomas. I may be wrong, but I may be right. Anyway, he's done awesome down there playing tennis for the Thomas College Terriers. So the nets are up. I do have a video here to share with you. We've got now a batting cage set up in town. So if maybe you were a superstar baseball player back in the day, or just a player, and you want to get back in the batting cage. Jason Neto, for example, assistant coach, maybe he wants to take some cuts against a long, tall lefty. I certainly could get in there and get on the mound. We got a raised mound. All you got to do is, if you don't have a batting helmet, contact myself. You can reach out to team captain Eden Parody. He's got some equipment, and have at it. There's a screen in there, what's called an L screen for baseball players, and a box screen for softball. We leave them right in there, and you don't have to pay. A lot of places downstate, you got to throw some quarters in there, and not us. There are some rules and regulations that we'd like you to follow. And let me show you a quick video here. This will be Eden Parody and 8th grader, soon to be freshman. Here we go. I'm getting there. Soon to be freshman Isaiah Martin. They were in the cage, and they were really getting it done here yesterday as we set that up. We set it up, myself, Jason, his son, Caden. who's also a Thomas College Terrier. What's going on, Thomas? You're invading taking all our Fort Kent students. Caden helped us day one. That was Tuesday in pretty nice weather. Wednesday we got a blizzard. So myself and Jason, we finished that up Wednesday, and then yesterday. Oh no, sorry. Anyway, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I lose my days. Yesterday, there it is again. We were in there, and we got the net secured, and so let's take a look. Let me see if I can enlarge this. And you hear the ting of the bat.
We got a couple first timers.
And I'm commentating, I apologize, but so let's take a look. Let me get this screen. Okay, let's enter full screen. There we go. All right, here we go. Now, all this wood here was donated by Jay Rushlow. He's got some kids in the system. Jace is a senior. Jaden, what year are you, Jaden? Sophomore or junior? Off the top of my head. But anyway, thank you for the Cedar Mill donation of this great lumber. That was put in last fall before the snow fell. Tracy Hart, our varsity baseball coach, and he had a group over there, including Jason, Carl Booley comes to mind. But thank you to all those people as they got that put in and set. Bart Plord from Plord Farms was able to dig some holes, I believe, and his son Abram helped out. But anyway, they got it put in, and the wood kind of sat there throughout the winter. Jason then did a roundup at, let's play this while I talk, at
Batting cage is ready for you.
Parady's Shop and Save. So a roundup was done, and we got this nice net put in. So there it is. You hear the wind there yesterday. And we just love to hear that sound. I don't know what's up next here. Oh, a TikTok. So there it is. The cage is up. It took 3 hours to tell you about that story. Visit this website, though. It's the Facebook page, I'm sorry. Fort Kent Community High School, Valley Rouge Middle School. Originally created by none other than Mr. John Coletta, the principal for grades 7 through 12. And it's a great place. If you've heard of Facebook, I know you young kids probably have not heard of that, but it's a great social media site. But there it is. That's the cage. Remember here, 7:30, about 6 minutes from now, we're going to bring in Fort Kent Elementary School principal, Mr. Robbie Netto. Can't wait to see him. I don't know if he's going to be at the office or if he's home, what's he doing, but we always like to see. Probably the best background so far, no pressure, Robbie, was Ryan Pelletier. Mr. Pelletier was, I don't know, it was a random bridge. I thought maybe the Golden Gate. He didn't know. It definitely wasn't the Fish River Bridge, that's for sure. So also, as we talk about recreation, things we can do, there is, of course, walking, biking, hiking, gardening, camping we talked about. The Heritage Trail is just a great place to start. You know, if you're doing the mills and you hop onto the Heritage Trail wherever, it leads to some great options, whether you're on foot or bike, or your dog is walking you like mine does. You can find some great trails at all times. Coming up, now listen, this is going to be pretty awesome tomorrow. It's quite a Friday. It's going to start here with Wake Up SJV, and we have the Deuce, the Dean of Students for Fort Kent Community High School, grades 7 through 12. That's none other than Steve Doucette. Now, Steve, back in the day, I've seen the footage. It's pretty incredible. He's quite a musician. He's currently the lead guitarist for Staff Infection, but he was also a member of a Metallica tribute band. So I don't know if he's gonna, I've asked him to play something here as we continue to promote local artists, but we're hoping that he does do that. But we're gonna bring in the Deuce. We're gonna get his take on what's going on. Of course, educationally, he's a great fisherman along with his son Braden. So we're gonna ask him about his fishing spots. Should be a great conversation with the Deuce to cap off Wake Up SJV for week 2. And then in the evening, we'll be back over there at the CHS soccer fields for Friday Night Warrior Lights. Now at the same time, No Nonsense host Nicole Jondro is going to lead a great fundraiser for a night of trivia. I don't know how I got talked into this, but it's the UMFK Cares virtual trivia. And I'm going to read this here for you folks. UMFK Cares Fund provides assistance to students at UMFK for housing, food, travel, heating, clothing, medical, dental, and mental health or support during other emergency situations, COVID-19, for basic needs for which the student has no other source of funds. So what a great fundraiser. I know myself personally, I plan to donate. Chaz Pelletier did say he was going to put up a couple million, so we're looking forward to that. So Friday should be awesome. We are about 3 minutes and change away from having Mr. Robbie Neto come in. Let's listen to a little bit more of Adam Neto. This was live at the Co-op back in 2015. Love the acoustic guitar.
Wakes up in the morning, his teeth like to weep and he's rolling, never changes a thing. We answer in the sheets. We love each other, wondering what the other is thinking, but we never say our name. These times between us grow deeper. Take these chances, raise family until the time lights down to up tonight. To visit his army, and she is who well is concerned. He forgets them and remember being small. They
All right, Adam Neto, 2015 performance. Looks like he played for close to an hour. It's awesome at the Market Street Co-op, which is now, folks, what? Anybody know? You got it. The whistle stop. Looks like we're ready for Mr. Robbie Neto. Hopefully he's done his hair this morning. It's a little better than mine. Let's bring him in here if we could and see what he's up to, folks. Hello, Mr. Robbie Neto.
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're live on Wake Up SJV. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone.
Mr. Neto, I was curious where you'd be working from this morning. Looks like you're home, my friend, or did you soup up your office?
I'm home.
Oh, there's Charlotte. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi.
Yeah. I'm
How's
home with the
everything
kids.
going, Mr. Neto?
Oh, we're doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Kids are up. They're dressed. That's always a positive at this time of the morning now.
And someone's coming to pick us up because
So-
Daddy has a meeting.
Well, yeah, this is the meeting I'm talking about.
And I'm sure you have plenty of those meetings, Mr. Neto, on a regular basis.
We do. We're meet with every grade level every week, discuss students, difficulties, stuff like that. So I think it's been helpful in us moving forward and kind of keeping a hand on everything because things are kind of crazy right now, but we're doing it.
It is crazy. Your leadership over there at Fort Kent Elementary has been incredible. You got a great staff, a great crew. Can you tell us, Mr. Neto, give us an inside look here? How has remote learning been going for grades pre-K to 6?
Well, so first of all, I mean, it's easy to talk about great leadership, but if you don't have a good team, it really kind of is all for naught. So our team has really been fantastic. So like I said earlier, we're meeting every week with all the staff. So those meetings include sometimes our OT and PT specialists. Our guidance are in those meetings. All the teachers in a grade level are in those meetings. So they're really doing a great job working together, making sure that we're not letting kids fall through the cracks. I mean, when you look, pre-K to 6 is such a huge level, and anybody that I think has been a parent of students that have kind of gone through those grade levels, they know that there's a huge difference between what you see with a pre-K student and a second grader and a third grader going all the way up to grade 6. So there's a lot of differences. So a lot of our pre-K kindergarten, they're doing Facebook groups where the parents have kind of joined in on those groups. Parents are helping facilitate a lot of learning for those kids. Some of our older learners, 4 through 6, they're doing Google Classroom, those types of things where the students really are a little bit more in charge of their own learning. So really some great stuff.
Yeah, incredible. I'm one of those parents that I've still got one there. Avery is in 5th grade, and but anyway, you're right. I mean, just think about that span and the learning, Mr. Neto, as you know, is so important. Starting with even before pre-K, as a parent, you try to start instilling those basic foundational learning tools of reading, writing, coloring, you know what I mean? And then you get into just monumental years. But tell us, give us the negatives and the positives. So what have been some major challenges, and then spin that into some positives here that we've achieved, I guess, through remote learning.
Well, I'll start with the positives. I mean, we left school on a Friday. We left early that day. Sunday night, the decision was made that we were not going to be coming back to school and we're going to be doing remote learning. I mean, that's a huge hurdle for a lot of our staff to overcome when we're used to coming into a building. We have our 15 to 20 kids in a classroom, and we're in there teaching. We're sitting down next to kids, helping them learn. So that in itself, just getting over that mental hurdle of, okay, things are going to be very different from now on, and how do we meet that challenge? So the staff had 2 days with which to figure out how are they going to do this. and then implement it to be ready for Wednesday morning. And I mean, really, we took 2 days. We got everything ready. Staff learned. I mean, we were in Zoom meetings. You know, I'd probably done 5 Zooms in my life, and I feel like I'm pretty technologically capable up to this point. And now I feel like I Zoom 3 or 4 times a day. But, you know, these are things that people had to learn unexpectedly. And not just learn how to use it for themselves, but learn how are they going to be able to use it to implement remote learning for other people. So really just an incredible challenge that our staff really met wonderfully. You look at some of the challenges. I mean, when you're really looking at especially some of our younger learners, you know, they use their iPads in the classroom sometimes, but, you know, we don't put an iPad in front of the kids during the school day and just let them go. So that was a challenge in itself, where how do we go from teaching kids where we're in the classroom with them to, okay, now we have to facilitate learning in an entirely different way, where they're going to be at home. They're not going to be near you. They're not going to be able to ask specific questions, and you're not going to be able to see their work as they're doing it in order to give corrections. So that's really one of the bigger challenges, where sometimes you have to wait and see how a child did versus seeing it in real time.
Yeah, that's huge. You know, I'm sure yourself and your teachers are leaning heavily on the connection at home. You know, the facilitator. In my case, it's been my daughter's grandmother, who's a former 5th grade teacher. So we've been lucky there that she's pretty much facilitating. But it's tough, man. You're
Well,
right. I mean, imagine
even just to piggyback on that comment. So, you know, we're all at different spaces in terms of, you know, our home life, and then what are our work expectations during this time. Some people are home and they are able to facilitate that learning for their kids. Some people have wonderful grandparents or sitters that are able to do that. Some people don't. So another challenge that we've had to kind of overcome is, what are our expectations for people during this time? So, for example, we can't expect what we would normally have for a full day learning at school from students whose parents are working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. They're getting home at 5:30 at night, and they have maybe an hour with their kids before it's time to get ready for bed, tubby time, stuff like that. So we really have to be cognizant of the people that are home all day and able to work with their children, and then the people that they just can't. And it's not their fault. It's not that they don't want to. It's just the circumstances are not allowing that. So really tough line. I mean, I feel like we have some parents, and my wife probably included, that would do more, where some of us are just kind of surviving.
Yeah, you know, Mr. Neto, just thinking out loud here, but school is not going to be the same in the fall. And for the student, you know, for the young child that really just doesn't have great support at home, okay? You know, we talk about at the high school level and the middle school level about kids that are going to be falling behind, but the fear is, obviously, I'm sure in your eyes, those monumental big years where you need those kids, you know, especially in your elementary school levels of 1 through 3 or 4, grades 4, where every day is huge. Yeah. You know, do you see that being staggered next year? I mean, are we going to bring in odd grades each day? Or, you know, and then are some kids going to stay home and remote learn on the odd days? Or do I know we just don't know. It's still in discussion. But what are you hearing in your administrative meetings that you could share with us?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing that I'll share with everybody, and I really hope everybody listens to this part, is we don't know what things are going to look like in August. And if you look at that, that's 3 months away. The middle of school, the beginning of school based on the calendar is more than 3 months away. So let's kind of go backwards a little bit. 2 months ago was March 14. What were we doing on March 14 versus what we're doing now? How have things changed since then? So, you know, one thing that Mr. Silva has been really fantastic about is we need to plan for a lot of different things because we don't know what it's going to look like in August. So I know a lot of that planning is already coming into place, and some of the things that you've talked about they've been talked about in meetings in terms of these are possibilities. But at the end of the day, we really don't know. We don't know what the governor is going to say. We don't know what the Commissioner of Education is going to say. So it's really hard to say, well, this is probably what we're going to do, when in reality, it's 3 months away and there's so many things that are going to change between now and then that it'd be hard to make that determination now. As much as we'd love to, and you look at teachers are planners, and any parent that has a child doing remote learning knows that. They like to plan, they like to overplan, and it's really hard for us when we look at what's school going to look like in August and not really quite know yet. Been doing some research and reading some great articles out there about some possibilities. But at the end of the day, we're not sure what the state of Northern Maine is going to look like in August or June or July.
Yeah. No, that's a great answer. Yeah. All we can do is plan, right? And that is, in my meetings with Maine DOE, phys ed, and health teachers, that's been consistent. We just try to build resources and plan and try to figure out what we're going to do week by week, month by month, and just build a library. When I go on the statewide athletic director meetings, nobody knows. We go through an hour meeting, and I'm sure you've been in these, and we're just like, it's the unknown, so it is tough. Listen, your wife is the school nurse at MSAD 33. You're obviously the principal, so you're both working from home. You've got two awesome kids. How the heck are you balancing all that?
Well, it's a tough balance. I'll be really very honest. I'd love to take a lot of credit here, but Stephanie is really kind of the rock of our family. She's really the one that's been guiding most of this process. She's very good at telling me what to do also. So, she's really been great. I'm fortunate. My kids have been pretty good for the most part, although we've had our struggles. There's been some tears, and we've had to raise our voices a few times. But my kids have done, I think, a really good job. I'm really, really proud of them. And I'm, again, really proud of Stephanie for everything she's been able to do for our family. So I don't think this would have worked for us without Stephanie. And I think, just like you're talking with the kids, Meme is playing a huge role for you. Like, would this work for you guys if she wasn't, that kind of rock for you educationally? Stephanie's been that person for our family. So just every day is a challenge. Awesome. Every day is different, and it really gives me a great perspective from being the principal and knowing that Abe is in pre-K, Charlotte's in first grade, so I have young kids that are going through this, and it's not the same. These kids, they want to see their teachers, they want to see their friends, they want to be doing those things that you can only really get inside school. I mean, remote learning, we're doing our best, and I think we're doing a fantastic job. But my kids want to be in school.
Yeah. So a shout out to Stephanie here. Happy belated Mother's Day to her. Another champion. I mean, you just think about all the healthcare scares now, and I can only imagine what she's dealing with on a daily basis, trying to figure out when kids do come back, how is that going to look for a school nurse? I can only imagine. So, and then she's got to live with you. That's tough.
Yeah, well, that's an added layer of stress for really anybody. So, I go into the building every day. So really on those days that she's here and then working with the kids, she's here doing it. So I would say that I've not been much help to her. So, and my kids have done fairly well. So really, really proud of my wife, and awesome.
That's awesome. Well, you've always been a great, humble person. So I know that you guys are doing that with great teamwork. Listen, let's change gears here. I'm going to put you on the spot. I don't know if I'll get an answer, but let's flash back, all right, to your incredible stint as the girls varsity soccer coach. And you had some great teams. You had some great players. So which team in your eyes was the most successful overall? Okay. Don't upset anybody, but which team was the most successful?
Do I have a long time?
Yeah.
How do I have this answer?
You've got 13 minutes.
Okay, so I mean,
Don't use it all.
not trying to be too polite or politically correct anything, but every team that you coach has something special about them, and I could really go down the list. So 2010 was my first year coaching. The previous coach had been pretty successful. They had lost, I think 1-0 in the Eastern Maine final the year before. So when I came in that year, again, I was new. The team had some previous success, which is always difficult. But the kids really did a fantastic job. They bought into the program, and I remember going down to Washington Academy, and my system was a little bit different than what Coach St. Jars was, and it takes time to learn a new system and those types of things. But we went down to Washington Academy, and I mean, within 5 minutes into that game, their girls were gassed because we were just passing triangles around them. And at that moment, I'm like, okay, we really have a chance to do something special. And that year, we hosted an Eastern Maine championship. I just remember it was packed. The Orono team that we played was fantastic. I'd probably say more talented than we were, but I mean, our defense, our heart, I think, was really there in order to be able to hold them off. And we ended up winning in PKs. And we had started PKs in September during harvest, practicing PKs. So we were ready for that. Once we went to PKs, I pretty much knew we were going to win. So that's the 2010 team. That won Eastern Maine, went to states. We lost 2-1 in overtime.
Wow.
Yeah, and honestly, I think we should have won that game. We hit the post a couple times. I think had I had more coaching experience at that point, we would have come out with a victory there. You know, just in terms of things maybe I would do differently now versus what I did then with my limited experience.
Coach Neto, 2010, didn't you was Lexi Desjardins on that team? Wasn't she all New England? Or
well, let me keep going.
Okay.
So that was 2010. Yeah, Lexi played a huge role in that team. She was a sophomore that year.
Wow.
And then 2012, we lost in the semifinal in 2011 at home against Orono 4-2. Snowy conditions. It wasn't great, but Orono again was a great team, and we battled Orono every year. I feel like during the time that I coached. But 2012 again, we knew we had a really good opportunity to win Eastern Maine again and go to states. That would be the year that Lexi, Abby, a lot of kids are seniors. We had a really strong senior group, a really strong junior group, so a lot of experience. That's the year that Lexi won State Player of the Year. So we went down. We actually won Eastern Maine 4-0. We scored 4 goals in the first half and kind of breezed through the Eastern Maine. And we lost. We had a 2-1 lead against Waynfleet in the state final. And they scored a couple goals off of some crosses that they had a 3-2 victory there. But in that one, Danielle Pelletier was our striker, and Danielle was a very dynamic player. She was strong. She was fast. She could have been a track star. And she actually tore her ACL, I think, probably 15 minutes into the game.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that just goes to show the strength of the team that we still had a 2-1 lead in that game going into the second half.
Right.
But again, a few coaching things I think that we could have done a little bit differently that would have maybe made some changes. But I will say I coached with Murph for a couple of these teams, and that was probably one of the best experiences of my life was coaching with Coach Murphy because I played for Coach Murphy. So I want to give him a shout out. Learned a lot from him, and I don't think that I'd be the places that I am today, principal, teaching, coaching, that type of thing, without Coach Murphy. So big shout out to him.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get him on here as a guest. His name comes up a lot. So listen, how many?
Hey,
before
I'm
you
not
go
done
through
here.
it, well, hold on a sec. Before you go through every game of your coaching career, I didn't realize though. So how many state finals? Were you in, and how many of those were 1-goal games? Sounds like one was an overtime loss, right? 1 goal.
Yep.
And then first year, Sacopee Valley, wasn't that a 1-0 game?
So 2010 we played Sacopee and we lost 2-1.
Yeah.
2012 we played Waynfleet and we lost 3-2, and then in 2014 we lost 1-0.
Yeah, wow. So 3 state finals, all 1-goal games. That's amazing.
And honestly, I mean, maybe probably one of the strongest teams that I've had was in 2013 when we lost to Orono in overtime. in the Eastern Maine final. And that, that team, that was Chelsea, Lauren. I mean, that team I coached in middle school as well, that group of seniors. So, and I felt like we were the stronger team that day in Orono, but soccer doesn't always work out like that. Yeah. And then the next year was 2014, and we went to Orono and beat them in overtime. And I felt maybe Orono was the stronger team, but soccer again sometimes it works that way for you, and sometimes it works that way against you. The 2014 team, though, is probably one of the teams that I'm the most proud of. And it's a silly story, but we lost to Caribou 3-0 in Caribou, and it wasn't pretty. We didn't play well. We weren't having fun, that type of stuff. And I know it really is silly, and the kids on the team will laugh at this if they're listening. But we came back the next day, and we started practice, and we played a game of Duck, Duck, Goose. And it just kind of got us laughing and going again. And from that point on, I think we gave up 1 or 2 goals the rest of the season. So we had like a 1.5 feet of snow that year going into the Eastern Maine final. It was supposed to be in Holton, but we played it in Presque Isle on the turf. And we won that one. It was 0-0, but we won it in PKs as well.
Yeah, that was my first year, and that's still, I mean, we've had some great events in all sports in my 5-6 years here, but that game is still one of my best memories. It went PKs, and everybody got out of the stands. We're all standing on the turf. I remember as AD, I'm trying to hold people back, and Lexi there made some great saves. Alexis, what the heck was her name? Pelletier, right? Incredible saves, standing on her head. And anyway, that was an awesome game.
I'll talk about Alexa for a second. Loved coaching Alexa. She was, and again, she was a stubborn girl for sure. And I feel like you tell her things sometimes and she just wouldn't listen to you. But every time that happened in a practice, she would come in the next day and do everything exactly the way that you had asked her to do it. So I think we may have both shed some tears sometimes dealing with each other, but just absolutely loved coaching Alexa, and she was fantastic in goal. And that's another thing too. I mean, really, when you get into PKs, we were always very well prepared for PKs. And if you look at the kids that we had on that team, like we were going to win that game in PKs when it went to PKs. I had no doubt about it. Lex in goal, and then the kids that we had that were taking our PKs, I felt really 1 through 10. They didn't really stand a chance at that point.
Yeah, and I remember that game. Holton just looked tired going into PKs, mentally and physically. And you're right. Just seeing how you ran your practices and how you really hammered that home was awesome. But you can tell how much passion you had as a coach. I know, similar to myself, sometimes your life changes, so you've done awesome. You became a principal, and you're focused on that now and your kids. But we always think about our great teams in coaching. Listen, before I let you go, we're featuring local music here now, Mr. Neto, and I know you're a big fan. So Monday we had Empty Head. Tuesday was French Toast. Yesterday was Travis Sear. Today, Adam Neto. Do you have a favorite local artist, or maybe some more you could share with us here so you can promote them? And don't say yourself.
Yeah. So first of all, there's me and the Mr. Neto song. So kids, if you're listening, you can start singing right now. But Boomerang.
Oh, Boomerang. Okay.
We'll call them the Lions Club Band.
Great. Yeah, I'm typing as you speak.
They always, for me, I mean, I listen to every type of music for the most part. Whatever gets Stephanie up and dancing and up and going kind of is what I like. So, French Toast, I call them the Lions Band. I'm the Lions member. So
great.
Those are my guys. So they're fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll try to search them up. We're trying to create maybe a hub here somewhere on the line where we can just feature local music. So I know I'm working on that with our producer here, Chaz Pelletier. But listen, I know you're a busy man. I can't thank you enough for joining us and giving your insight here on what's going on with especially our elementary school education. And it's awesome always to talk soccer with you and all the great teams and great players. And listen, as a coach and a principal, I'm sure the most important thing is when those, you keep those relationships years from now. And I know that's been special to you. So thanks for everything that you do, Mr. Neto. And hey, we'll see you. We'll see you on the front lines, my friend.
Listen, I'm always happy to join you. So just let me know.
Thank you.
I don't mind being a surprise guest once in a while.
Awesome. We'll bring you in for sure, my friend. That
All right.
was Mr. Neto, Fort Kent Elementary School principal, giving us some great insight today. And have a great day, my friend.
You too. Thanks.
Coming up tomorrow, once again, is none other than the Deuce. The Deuce will be loose. That's the Dean of Students, Mr. Steve Doucette. He's the enforcer. He's the lead guitarist of Staff Infection, and he will join us for some great convo tomorrow. Also, tomorrow evening, Friday Night Warrior Lights will have their third game from 8:20 to 8:40 in 20 seconds. So 20 minutes, 20 seconds. We turn on the lights, play some music, and we just honor the senior class. Also going on tomorrow night is that UMFK Cares virtual trivia hosted by No Nonsense's Nico. So that'll be awesome. So a great action-packed day. Listen, get out there. It's a nice day. Fly a kite, ride a bike, hit the batting cage, play some tennis. I'm going to get to work on volleyball as well, just to give us some great options. We're looking for, I've not got any takers on a half pike. If we could build a half pike, we're trying to get some sort of skate park going. We want to keep our kids busy and adults. I know I could hop on a skateboard and probably break my neck, but in all seriousness, let's get options out there. And everybody stay safe. This has been